That looks like we're in.
We're going now. Hey, we're live. We're going live. We got a Friday night show to do. Ben's a little late, Hafeman style. As a true Hafeman, he's a little late. But we got our Buck specialist and guest, Nico. Nico, how you doing?
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, Nick. I have to ask you now.
Uh-oh.
One serious question right out of the gate.
Serious?
Yeah, because we know the Bucks are good. We know the Bucks are like gearing up for 2 titles in a row here, which we never thought would ever happen in our lifetime.
Current NBA champion.
Trying to go for 2 in a row. Now, Nico, do you like the Boogie Cousins signing?
I do. I think he's talented. He's been injury prone. I mean, it's hard to think of him because it seems like he hasn't been around that long, but he's kind of a veteran now. But he's missed so many games over all these years where he's kind of been chasing the super teams a little bit, but he never plays. So I think he tried to go to Golden State maybe, or maybe went to the Lakers for a little while and played like 2 games. Like he never ever played. But if your boy Brook Lopez is going to be out for the year, we need another big body. And then if Boogie can play,
yeah,
I mean, he's a good big man. He knows how to play the game of basketball. He just gets hurt a lot.
That was the thing. When I saw Lopez was getting surgery, I was like, "Oh, that's why they needed him." I hope Lopez. I hope he's not gone for the whole year, but I don't know the status of his recovery.
It's kind of like back in the day where Keith. I was going to say Keith against because I thought of him like that. Julius Peppers. When Julius Peppers was leaving the Panthers, and I was like, "Oh, we should get Julius Peppers," and then he went to the Bears for like 4 years. Then he came to the Packers. Like 4 years ago, I'd been super excited for us to get Boogie Cousins on this team. But now it's like, let's see what he can do. But I mean, he knows how to play basketball. He's got size. He can pass. He can rebound. He's tough in the inside. He just gets hurt. So if he could play 50, 60 games, if he's healthy for the playoffs, awesome.
Seems like he's happy to be there. All right, the more serious question, and this one I'm really curious about. Has Grayson Allen won you over yet?
I have not seen him trip anyone or try to hit anyone in the privates yet, like he did back in his Duke days. Hopefully, he got away from doing that kind of stuff. He doesn't slap the floor every time someone brings the ball up the court. So he's doing his job the way he's supposed to so far.
Come on, for all of us longtime Wisconsin fans, he certainly left a mark on us from as a freshman at Duke, ruining the Badgers.
But then we had Brad Davidson, who some people say plays Grayson Allen style, and he's been on the Badgers for a good 7 or 8 years now. So I don't know how that works, but Brad Davidson has been known to trip a person and take a whole bunch of charging fouls and all that good stuff. So we're getting our Grayson Allen 2.0 for the Badgers right now. But yeah, I mean, he's got the good outside shot. Well, I don't know what the plan is for him and Dante DiVincenzo as he's going to come back pretty quick here. So I don't know how they're going to split the minutes between those guys yet. I think Dante was supposed to play Wednesday, but the Bucks had COVID go through, like a lot of sports teams. I don't know if you're going to talk about that, but it seems to be pretty rampant with in the NFL right now and the NHL and the NBA too. The Bucks had 7 guys missing on Wednesday. Not that they all necessarily have it, just that the protocols.
Yep. Kenny Clark just got put on the list a day or 2 ago.
Well, didn't a bunch of games get pushed back?
Ben, we got to go to Ben on that. Ben, what's the latest on the NFL schedule?
I don't know.
Oh, I think some Saturday games got pushed to like Tuesday. Or Saturday
I work and I sleep.
Yeah, I think I saw some of that too. There, it got really It like I think right at the beginning of the week it was like 37 people all in one shot, and then there are more guys added to the list. So I know they were pushing some stuff around.
I think the Browns and Raiders. Does the Browns Raiders play this week?
Yes.
They had to postpone that because there was so many guys that had it that they couldn't even play it. They couldn't even field the team.
Yeah.
So I think there's like a couple Monday games and a Tuesday game this week.
I bet the Broncos from last year are pretty pissed about all this.
I bet you the Packers, when they play the Chiefs, are pretty pissed about it.
Well, they had to have they had 0 quarterbacks. They had to start that wide out at quarterback last year, which was totally insane.
The Redskins are close to that point right now. I think the Redskins are going to be on like their 4th string quarterback.
Washington football team, Nick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
WFT.
Artists formerly known as the Redskins are going to be. I think their top 2 or 3 guys all have on the COVID list.
Dang. Heineke
Well,
too?
that's too bad. They got to play without him then.
Oh.
Next man up.
That's right.
Next man up.
It's
like
the COVID reserve list. It's the reserve list for a reason. You put them on the reserve list and you play the freaking game, whether you got a bunch of guys that suck or not.
You sign.
That's bull crap.
You go and sign Blake Bortles.
That's
Speaking of next man up, you guys were slandering me a few weeks ago on my fancy Hafeman Bros fantasy football team. And I got an alternate slant that I am doing my greatest coaching performance of all times.
Wow.
And you guys are saying it's luck. I've been incredibly unlucky, and I'm still tied for first place. It's all because of good coaching. Because
I guess
I'm a keen assessor of talent, and you guys are not good at it.
I noticed the last couple of weeks you just kept winning. I kept losing, and now
I got 8 wins in a row. What do you want?
I know you took off.
What team is that again? Oh, because you got my quarterback. You jerk.
No, that's the other league.
Yeah.
We're talking about the one that this show represents.
Yeah, we gotta touch base on that too, because it's coming down to the wire here. There's only 4 playoff spots available.
I'm in.
And you're in, huh? Just like that.
Only 4 playoff spots?
Yeah. Well, it's a 10-team league. What do you want me to have? More than half the teams make the playoffs? That's not right.
The NBA does. So we just talked about the NBA.
Oh, that's because we got to get Bucks updates.
But they do.
But my fantasy team is all about next man up, next man up, next man up. And that's how you're a true champion.
Inspiring, man. Rick
here. I don't cry when all my guys are on the IR. I just keep winning.
Nice work. Hey, Rick's in the house, and Rick, I'm playing Rick this week. So, well, since we're talking about it, and since Nick is actually here, and I know he can't stay too long, let's get after it. Then we'll get into actual football talk here. Let some people jump in. All right, so let's sneak a peek here at the standings. There's some things happening. I've lost far too many games. I'm out of it. Nick's in, Bucks in 6. Look at him, 9 wins in a row. Jeez. I don't know how you did it. I don't know how you won 9 in a row and only scored that many points. I still don't know how you did it. Wow, impressive. You're winning all the close ones. Nice work. And Josh George has been humming along all season long, hop around. Nice work too. Why is this Purple Rain? Come on, this is not cool that we have let Purple Rain, Viking Mo, potentially be one of the playoff teams. I don't like it. It's not acceptable for a Packers podcast, show, fantasy league. It's not cool. And Zero, what the hell happened, Zero? You lost 4 in a row? Come on, Zero.
Look who's got the second longest winning streak in this league.
Yeah, you beat me last week.
He still only has 6 wins.
My team laid a couple of big turds last week playing you, and it was bad.
I'm probably going to win this week, so I'll get 10 weeks in a row, or 10 wins in a row, then I'll lose the first round of playoffs. Is how I usually go about doing that sort of thing.
Good. That's what you deserve.
Nico, I'm not even going to point out that you've only scored 13 more points than me, and you have 11 wins, and I have 6 wins. I'm not even going to say that.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's due to coaching and defense.
Hey, at least there's no goose egg teams here. Mama's Gonna Knock You Out was running a rough stretch. She won 4 in a row, then she's lost 3 in a row. But still, for her first ever fantasy attempt, not too bad for Mama's Gonna Knock You Out. And Rick, it's been a rough go, but it's his first time back in fantasy in a long time. We appreciate Rick coming back on to play fantasy this year. I think this is the last week, right? Last week of the regular season. Then we got 2 weeks of playoffs, and that's it. Dang.
So it's probably 2 of those 3 8-6 teams are probably going to make it, right?
We got 8-6, 8-6, 8-6, and 7-7 hanging out. I gotta look at the schedule here. What do we got? Who's 0 playing? Zero's. Oh, we got 7-7, 7-7 here. That could be a deciding factor. Whoever wins that has a chance. Josh, you got to keep winning. You got to take down Purple Rain. Let's go. Take
That's
him
me.
down.
I'm Bucks.
Oh, Nick, Buck is in 6. Don't lay a turd this week, Nick. Oh,
It's going to be tough, man.
And then Long Tooth Decay.
I got no players again.
Could Ben win? Maybe. Rick, I don't want to beat you, but I might. This week I'll have a watch. This week my team will blow up and be awesome for no reason at all. Anyway, that's it. Another classic fantasy season of my team jockeying just below 500 and finishing out of it again, and that's how it always goes.
I think
win again.
Win or lose, I'm coach of the year, I think.
Wow, impressive what you've done there. All right, so any other Bucks updates before we switch to Packer talk?
They are just like we expected. They're second place in the conference, right, with the Nets. Bucks and Nets, first and second, and I would expect they're going to meet in the playoffs.
Wow, and they had a rough start there for a while, but
a little bit of championship hangover. But they, whenever they have Middleton and Giannis and Drew on the court at the same time, they usually win. But they don't all play all at the same time. So we'll see what happens. They got off to a slow start. Then they had like an 8-game win streak or a 9-game win streak. And now it'll be them and the Nets unless something crazy happens. They're the best in the East. The Sixers took a step back. I think the Suns might be in first place in the West. So it's going to look a lot like last year, I think.
All right, Packer time. Ben, any leftover thoughts from the Bears game? Any quick ones? Anything stick out to you? No surprises? You expected the special teams to be that bad?
Not that bad. But what are you going to do?
Did you guys talk about it more this past week? About how bad they are?
No.
We talked about it a little bit. I talked about it a little bit the other night. But the thing is, we gave the answer. We gave the answer a few weeks ago when we elected Adrian Amos as should be the punt returner.
Yeah.
After that Bears game, I have a different plan of attack.
What do you got?
Rush 11. All out blitz try to block every kick. And if you don't, that's fine. Just let them kick the ball and let it roll till it stops and let them touch it and down it every time. I don't want anybody to get anywhere near it. I don't want someone to push their foot into it. I don't want someone to try and catch it. I don't want to do Mark Pryor style. You just have someone that just catches punts. Like, don't even try it. Just let it go.
Just surrender that whole part of it. Okay.
If you block 1 or 2 a year, that'd be nice. It's better than they do now. And then if they half the time they'll call a fair catch on the 3-yard line. The other half they'll drop it. It'll bounce off someone else trying to block, or it's a fair catch. I mean, a touchback. Just let them kick it, and don't even try and don't have anyone within 30 yards of it. Don't try to jam up the gunners. Just have 11 guys try to block the punt every time and let it go. What do you think?
I don't like that plan.
At least you
Could be
secure
worse than
possession.
what they do now.
Right. At least you have possessed the ball when you're done. There's no way on punt return that you can mess that up.
I would say.
What was the guy in the kick return that tried to catch it when he was like 6 inches from being out of bounds and it just bounced off his chest? Like, why would you not just let that go? Why don't they know those kind of things?
Because they're not smart.
I'm not smart either. And I know you don't try to catch it when it's about to go out of bounds.
That was
And
my
he didn't
guy.
catch it.
That was one of my 2 guys who was supposed to take a big step, and I'm so disappointed in this year. And they both need to be not even on the field. Malik Taylor, forget it. And Ty Summers, I know they have him on all those special teams. He's doing terrible on all the coverage units. Just get him the hell out of there. Get him out. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he doesn't even deserve to be on the unit. Get him out.
That's me.
Dude, watch it. Look at the punt. Look at the punt return touchdown from against the Bears. He's like right in the middle. He could have attacked that and stopped it. And then he was passive, and then he was slow changing direction, and then he took a bad angle. I'm like, what in the hell are you doing? You're Ty Summers. You're supposed to be one of the core guys. You're a bigger, fast guy, which you need on special teams, right? Especially the
Well, he made a big
coverage
tackle in the
unit.
second half on a kickoff or something, or a punt
Yeah.
or whatever it was.
Well, maybe.
Better than Owen Burks on that freaking play. Owen Burks had the guy dead to rights.
I just don't.
I'm generally
Agreed.
an optimistic Packer guy, and every single special teams play, I think it's going to go wrong.
Well,
I think
yeah.
we're gonna- every field goal, every extra point, I think we're going to muff every punt. I think they're going to return one on us.
Oh,
Just about
no.
every single time, I'm like, oh, this is going to go bad.
You're worried every time we see one?
I never
Oh,
think it's
man.
good.
That's, you know what? I feel now about the special teams the way I used to feel
Hey,
about
Bernard.
the Packers on third down on defense a couple years back. Or if a team go, even now, or even last year, if a team would go for it on fourth down, I'm just like, yep, they got it. No problem. This year, the Packers are actually stopping them.
I know.
But every
Yeah.
year it's something. The last couple of years it's been the Packers, defense. I figure they're going to give it up. They're going to, the drive's never going to end. And then this year it's a special teams is going to screw something up every single time. Whether it's the kick miss, kick getting blocked, can't freaking tackle a guy, freaking muff punt, freaking ding dong, who knows what he does, holding, I don't know, something stupid. And there's no excuse for it other than, I don't know, bad coaching. And the only thing I will say, one more thing about coaching. Matt LaFleur, I give him a lot of credit and stuff. And I've been hearing things this week. So apparently, I thought the Aaron Jones touchdown pass was like a genius play call. Apparently, it was Aaron Jones just being like, oh, it's too congested in here. I'm just going to take off and go to the end zone. So Aaron Jones just made that up. And Rodgers found him, thank God, and threw the ball. And just barely got it over the top of a big fat defensive lineman, thank God. Because that would have been a linebacker, probably would have been tipped or picked or who knows what. But luckily, it was defensive lineman. So that was not a great play call. I thought it was a genius play call. Nope. It was just Aaron Jones being smart.
It was
And Aaron
playground.
Rodgers.
Yeah, playground football. The guy was like, I'm just going to run over here by the open spot. And then Rodgers like, oh, he's over there. I'll throw it over there.
And then the other thing is, apparently, the Devontae last touchdown was a play that, or was a route that they talked about from a previous, like McCarthy era. It had nothing to do with LaFleur. Also,
Magic. Carthy
also,
Magic still
the
wins.
Lazard touchdown apparently is from which I don't know how you can't think of that. Let's see, you have a guy who's for the last 3 years has done nothing but mostly block. How about if we have him pretend like he's going to block and then take a slant and be wide open in the end zone? And why do we wait till fourth down to call that play? Why don't we just call it on first down?
Because that's what we really needed it. Fourth down. We had to play that.
Well,
was
why
gonna
do we
work.
wait until
That was-
fourth down to call that? Just call it on first down.
Don't you remember all those times, all the times that McCarthy would forget about that section of his play sheet that was plays that work, and he'd try all those other ones. And then LaFleur's got the same thing. He's got a section of his play sheet that's plays that work. And he's like, oh, it's fourth down. Let's go to that plays that work section and get one of those, and we'll get the touchdown.
Those are the things I remember. So what I'm saying is, I used to think that Matt LaFleur maybe was like, I knew what he was doing. I don't think he knows what he's doing. He doesn't know who's on the field half the time. Apparently he, special teams, he doesn't know what's going on there. Luckily, Zadarius Smith isn't on the field, so the defense is actually playing good, but LaFleur has nothing to do with that.
We got to talk about that in a little bit.
And when I thought it was genius play calls, apparently it's just guys doing whatever that make plays.
Players make plays.
And that's why when Love was in there and they were just calling LaFleur plays, it looked like garbage crap. And when Rodgers is in there and he's just like, hey, that guy's open, I'm just going to throw it to him. And it's not a play call. It's just the guy's open, and he throws it to him. And I said that a couple weeks ago. And somebody's like, you can't just say the guy's open, throw it to him. And I was like, yeah, you're right, you can't. Except you can, because the Packers proved it. So what's going on with LaFleur? I used to think he was pretty good, and now I'm starting to question that. And I'm like, how is this guy? How does he have so many wins then?
The quarterback's good.
Quarterback's good. Bad.
He might be good, but he's an ass. A jerk in real life.
Ooh.
Really?
And I don't want him on my team anymore. And now everybody's saying how, I think Rodgers is sticking around. Look at his attitude, and he's sticking around. He's going to stick around. No,
not what I heard.
Go away. Go away, Rodgers.
That's not what I heard. That's not what I heard. And I think the more and more I see the season play out, regardless of whether they win the Super Bowl or not, I think Rodgers is going to want to leave next year.
Woo.
And even though the Packers have done a whole bunch of stuff with the whole situation, they backed him up, they supported him, they did all this stuff, whatever. I don't want to get into all that, but I did hear Jason Wilde also feels the same. He feels that right now he thinks Aaron Rodgers is going to want like a different kind of challenge, different situation. And I'll tell you later in the show after Nico goes away, we'll tell you why it is also the best time for the Packers to make that move. If that's what he wants, just let him go and work with it and try to win the Super Bowl this year and then do it. Anyway,
you gotta wait
Nico,
till Nico goes away because Nico,
Yes.
you want to hurt his
Nico
feelings,
can't
or
stay
what?
forever, and we'll get talking to these circles.
Why?
that
He's got a
we
hot
won't-
date again, or what?
I'll say
He does.
I'll say Packers should give Rodgers a 5-year extension right now. So I think they should do.
No.
They should do a number of things, but they're not going to do them. Now, Nico,
What?
let's go here real quick because Matt LaFleur, Ben was just bringing about how some concerns about Matt LaFleur, and that's one of the things I needed to share tonight. Matt LaFleur during his press conference, we need to watch this real quick and listen to it because
All right, let's watch it.
this was a concerning thing, even more concerning than all the other stuff Ben just talked about, the realizations he just had. This, what I'm about to share with you, is the most concerning thing
Most concerning thing of the week.
that Matt LaFleur said the other day in his press conference. So let me
right.
get this up here, and we'll go with it. I got to switch windows and so I pull her up here. Here it is. LaFleur, here he is. You see him, you know. You see the eyebrows and the haircut, that finely trimmed beard. All right.
I don't think you should bring up haircuts.
Listen to what he says here.
I don't know how many more times we can ask Rasul questions in different ways, but it's not like one team passed up on this guy and he just had one fresh start. There are like 4 teams in the past year that decided he wasn't good enough. How has he done this, and do you think he's earned a right to stay on the field full time even when Joe gets back?
Well, I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but absolutely, Rasul.
That's it.
That's it. That's the concerning thing.
The guy asked him, I don't know how
cut it
many
off
times
before
we
you
can talk
finish the
about
sentence.
how, yeah, but then he goes and says he does great things. But what he said before he said he does great things is the guy says, how many times do we got to say this where he's doing great stuff? And does that mean regardless of when Jair comes back, this guy should be on the field? I don't want to. Let's not get too far ahead of it.
Finish the quote. Yes, finish the quote,
crap.
please. I know this quote. Finish the quote.
Now
Go back and play the whole thing. Because I think you might have tuned out after you heard that.
No, I didn't.
Where-
But that's an
Play
opportunity.
the whole quote.
Shut your mouth. That is an opportunity
totally
for
wrong.
a resounding
He's doing
statement
it.
to be like,
I know,
this
but you
dude,
That's
yes, this
Bad
guy
journalism. Bad
needs to
journalism.
be on the team. No, listen.
Yes, it's bad
cutting off the
journalism.
clip. You're
That
cutting off
was
the
his
clip.
opportunity
You
to
just
say
skipped
it.
Bayless this whole thing.
I can't get the
Not.
context. You're small J journalism.
Play the whole thing.
Full time.
Play the whole thing.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but absolutely, Rasul has been a huge part of this defense. I mean, he makes key plays all the time, and even the DPI that he got called for, I thought he was just being aggressive and going to attack the football, but he makes key plays. I love how aggressive he plays. He just is a guy that he's fearless and he's resilient and is a ball hawk. He does such a great job of studying tape, of keying receivers, their route tendencies, and that allows him to make some of the plays that he's made.
Wow, a lot of strong praise there, man.
Listen.
Yeah, well, that even makes my point for me even stronger, because why in the hell wouldn't you respond to that question with, yes, this guy needs to be on the field because he is awesome. Don't be like, well, let's not get too far ahead. No, you're a coach. You want to instill confidence in your players. You want to make sure, like, we don't say this crap with other positions. Other guys, yeah, they're playing great. No. He played great. This guy asked you, has he earned himself to stay on the field? And you're like, well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. And then you say how awesome he is. What the hell is that? That's a concerning statement to me.
First of all, the question was asked stupidly.
I don't
because
care.
As if he was going to play instead of Jair was the question. Like when Jair comes back, I know. But that's the way the question is sort of phrased in a weird, stupid way. It should have been, hey, when Jair comes back, will Stokes take a back seat and Douglas and Jair, two playmakers, be on the field the majority of the time? That's the question that should have been asked. And then LaFleur would be like, yes, he is a veteran who makes plays, and he's always out there, and he does awesome things, and we need him out there with our top-notch Pro Bowl, All-Pro cornerback in Jair, so they're together, blah, blah, blah. But you got to understand, these coaches don't want to say anything publicly that's going to hurt. Okay, because number one thing is Jair is not back yet. So if you're Stokes or King or Sullivan or anybody else, you can't say, oh yeah, Douglas is the best. He will be out there as soon as Jair comes back. These other guys stink. See you later. Bye. No, because he has to keep those guys and their confidence high because they're the guys on the field right now. Jair isn't out there. And these coaches, if there's one thing, LaFleur is the master of never saying anything that has anything to do with anything. And that's exactly what he did. He said nothing that's going to hurt the guys that are playing now, and he said nothing that's going to hurt Rasul Douglas. He said all great things about Rasul Douglas, praising him about all the things he does. But he also didn't hurt the guys that are out there now because those are the guys that have to play. So just calm down. It's not like they're playing Billy Turner instead of somebody who's better. It's not like they're playing Big Dog instead of Robert Tonyan, which they did for last year and a couple years, right? This is not the same thing. It was earlier, and they learned it. The one game where they decided to do, Kevin King's back, so we're going to split time with Kevin King and Rasul Douglas, right? They lost. And then after that, King was mysteriously injured and couldn't play the next game, remember? And then Rasul Douglas was awesome. And then this last week, Rasul Douglas got the start because he was one of the guys who said his name on the Sunday Night Football, right? So they figured it out. It's taken them way too long to figure it out. Somebody knew it a month and a half ago. I don't know who that guy was. But he was a genius. But I can't help it. If I should be the Packers head coach, I should be. I'm a genius. I'd be better than Urban Meyer as a head coach in the NFL, I can tell you that. I wouldn't leave at 3:30 in the afternoon every day.
You'd probably kick more guys, though.
I would kick more guys. I'd elbow them and gut them and stuff in the gut. But I would also never leave early. I would also work my butt off. I would also never, ever go out to the bars. Everybody knows that. I'm not going to go out to the bars. There's going to be no chicks grinding on me at a bar because I don't never go to the bar. That's happening. I'd be a perfect NFL head coach. But right. I'm just saying it.
Nico, any thoughts on
Jaguars,
that? You're not alarmed?
Jaguars.
Well, Ben would probably show up late for every game, which wouldn't be great for
that might be. But I wouldn't call the plays though. I'd have an offense coordinator and a defense coordinator. I'd just be like, somebody who just stands there.
Ask Madden all day. Yeah.
No.
That video is of no concern to me. I think that every head coach tries to be the guy from the Patriots that doesn't tell you anything about anything ever, never answers any question, and just gives blah, blah, blah. If your quarterback gets his arm cut off in a tractor accident, you say, is he going to start Sunday? And well, we'll see.
Yeah.
You don't give the other team any kind of information at all about what you're planning to do and who's going to start and who's going to be in the lineup and who's going to play more. You just avoid that and then praise your guy every time. That's coaching 101 now. Everybody learned from Belichick that you just don't answer any questions about who's available, who's starting. Just don't even answer it. Just look it on to the next one. We'll see. We'll play with the guys we have when the game starts.
Quick follow-up question then to you, Nick. If Jair Alexander comes back or when, and the Packers choose to start someone other than Rasul Douglas at corner, and Rasul Douglas is not on the field much at all, What do you think all the players, after watching him, all the players on that team, after watching the impact he's made during this time, what do you think they would feel like?
If that happened, they'd probably say this is dumb, but I don't think it's going to happen.
All right.
First of all, the Packers play, how many times do they play with only 2 cornerbacks on the field? What percentage of the time?
Like
They have
never.
3, right. All 3, Stokes will be, all 3 of them will be playing all the time. You know, whether you play the first snap or the second snap, who really cares? You know, they're all going to be getting about the same amount of snaps, so it's no big deal.
And to be honest, I think what's going to happen is it's probably going to be Sullivan who might, get the short end of the stick and not be out there as much. And then on dime packages, I think the Bear game proved that Henry Black is a great guy, but he doesn't have the ability to cover the slot, or even a running back out of the backfield, or a wide receiver in disguise as a running back out of the backfield. Because the guy caught the ball and ran for freaking 50-some yards. Amos was too slow to catch him. King was too slow to catch him. And Black was too slow to catch him.
That was
ridiculous.
There was some misinformation going around. Somebody thought that Kevin King had 0 defensive snaps in this last game.
Oh no,
he had a couple, and one of them was that touchdown right there.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was. I mean, I like Amos. Amos is a good player.
Yep.
But he's not fast.
No.
And he had the angle, or he should have been able to have the angle on that play, and he was still too slow to catch that guy. Who's fast? That guy was super fast. That Bears. I can't remember what his name was, but
Bird.
Whatever.
Oh, they got Grant and Bird. They're both.
Well,
really
that Grant
fast,
guy
little
was really
shifty.
even faster. Like
Fast
I don't
little
think Bird was
shifty
even as
kids.
fast as that Grant guy.
Nico, we
But
got
that-
bad news.
What?
Just came on my phone. Bucks lost 116-112 to the Pelicans tonight.
Yeah, I don't think Giannis played today.
Okay.
Oh, he's probably COVID. No, he already
Yeah.
had COVID.
But they're on restrictions.
Right.
Dante, before you came on, Dante was supposed to be back this week too, but he's on COVID.
Damn.
I don't care.
All right.
I don't been paying attention to the Bucks. I got no time for no Bucks.
I'm gonna get going.
We'll get him later. Nico.
Bucks.
Nico, is Vinny home from college yet?
He's coming home tomorrow.
Coming on tomorrow.
Whoo.
Yeah. He still had to
Grant
do
got
some
home
sick-
yesterday. All I know is Grant's been home for one day,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I'm
What
almost
is he
out.
doing?
I'm almost out of toilet paper and almost out of hand soap. So for years and years, I always wondered. I was like, do we have a toilet paper monster that eats all of our toilet paper, or do we have like a monster that like drinks hand soap? Apparently, no. I have a 18, almost 19-year-old son who, for years and years, is the person that wipes his butt 75,000 times and takes a dump and washes his hands, apparently, with half a bottle of frickin' soap. It was fine.
Teach him to use the shower curtain, and you'll be good to go.
Oh, yeah, that's a joke. But I mean, hey, I'm glad he's a clean guy, and he wants to be a clean person. But it's like, holy crap, dude! I can't imagine right now he's getting free toilet paper and soap in the dorms, and he wants to get an apartment starting in the summer. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to pay for toilet paper. That's half your freaking college budget right there.
I have to get a job working at a paper factory. Nico, thanks for hanging out. We'll let you go, man.
All right, go Pack, go. Packers win by 20 this weekend. How about that?
Oh, 20.
Whoa.
Nice.
See you,
Nico
Nico.
says it. Nico says it. All right, we'll catch up on a couple of chat things here, and then we gotta. Well, thanks for easing my concerns about Matt LaFleur's comment, because I was like, what? I
Yeah,
was
you're
so-
too concerned about that. There's
I
way
know he
more concerning things with Matt LaFleur than that.
I know he doesn't normally even know who's on the field, but I was
Yeah.
really hoping that he would come out and make a strong statement there to be like, yes, this guy's playing awesome. He's a key player on our defense. Speaking of key players on the defense, Ben,
Yeah.
let's talk about this real quick. Mostly just some questions. Appreciate guys that love Rodgers, people that hate Skip. Mom says LaFleur was just beating around the bush. Eka says it's a non-issue. He also said maybe he was trying to tactfully keep negotiation down. With Douglas by not.
Well, it's
making
over
him
now.
seem as
I mean,
important.
the guy's got so many huge plays. He just made a boatload of dough.
Yeah,
He's gonna get signed by somebody for way more. He's gonna be
Raiders.
No.
Rick. Raiders.
Yeah, he'll be a Raider next year. For sure.
He
Well,
was-
he's not
that
fast
would
enough
be
to be
the-
a Raider.
That would be the ultimate irony. The Raiders had him in camp this last year. They cut him, and then now they signed him back for some huge ass contract.
Yeah, that'd
Rick,
be really dumb.
I could see it happening. Okay. Anyway, let me get back to the thing I was talking about. So Larry McCarron did a pass rush video of the Packers pass rush. So they're great at running stunts, and showed some plays from the Bears game where they did a good job running a bunch of stunts. And he talked about that PFF has the Packers with an 80.9 pass rush grade as a unit on the season, and that's number 2 in the NFL. Number 2 in the NFL for the Packers.
Wow.
Now, so apparently they're awesome at rushing the passer. And all of the examples that Larry McCarron showed were a bunch of stunt plays, and most of them actually were plays that were other guys were doing a bunch of crazy work and giving Kenny Clark a free lane to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, Kiki gets stuck doing that a lot.
For everybody that thinks Kenny Clark is so awesome, well, he's getting lots of opportunities to be awesome because the way they're running stunts, it's like the outside guy is crashing in and taking his guy, and then Clark is the free guy to go get the quarterback. Just a heads up. Now that's fine, but
except for it when the quarterback breaks out.
He looks so slow,
and then Kenny Clark looks slower than dirt. I mean, it looks almost pathetic how bad he looks.
If you keep him in the little box, like between the guards, he's really effective. But when he's got to run out and chase, he's just so slow. So
he should honestly never be out there on third down ever.
He's a non-factor.
Unless it's 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2.
Once the quarterback breaks the pocket, he's a non-factor, which is just screwed up. You got to have those guys in pursuit.
He has zero benefit to him being on the field.
Rick notes that the Raiders will sign Douglas if he ends up being Super Bowl MVP, which is exactly.
Well, he might be.
Okay. But let's get back into it now. Anyway, the point is not to hammer on Kenny Clark here, just to point out to you that for all Kenny Clark pub that gets put out there, a lot of it is his teammates giving him good opportunities. Okay, just so you know. The thing that Larry McCarron pointed out, though, was how much and how disciplined the guys were at doing their job within the scheme of those pass rushes. And that's why overall they are number 2 in the pass rush grade by Pro Football Focus as a team. Now, my question to you and all of you is when one Zadarius Smith appears back on the field, will that still work the same? Because Zadarius Smith has been known to be a freelancer, has been known to do whatever the hell he wants and not really follow his assignment or the scheme at all. And then either you can't run any of those plays because you're going to figure, well, he's not going to do it anyway, so everybody's just free for all, beat your man, or you're going to have those play calls on and he's not going to do them right. Are you concerned about that?
I don't think he will be playing another down as a Packer.
Breaking news. You heard it here first.
Sorry. I mean, well, not sorry. I mean, happily. I think the team has figured it out. I think they finally figured it out. I think the players know it by not voting him as a captain this year. They knew it. I think the team has realized that he just wants money. That's all he's there to do, is to try to get his stats, and that's all he cares about. And if they watch any film at all, they'll see that he does not do his assignment on any run play. He does not take notice of where the ball is. He doesn't even know where the quarterback is half the time until after he beats his guy. He just wants to beat the guy in front of him. He is not a good player. Period. End of story. And I think the team knows it, and he will not be playing again. And if he is out there, I mean, I would hope maybe by him sitting out this year and watching this, I think he's got the athletic talent that he could be a great player, right? So maybe by sitting out and watching this, maybe he's learning something. I mean, there's a reason why the Ravens didn't play him very much. I mean, he was there for 4 years. The Ravens, Baltimore Ravens, one of the best, always had one of the best defenses until like this year. But even recent years before that, he was always great, right? The Ravens defense was awesome, great. And the guy couldn't even play 40% of their snaps. And they let him go as a free agent. There's a reason. They knew he was a one-trick pony. And, I think the Packers finally figured it out. And hopefully either A, they don't play him, or B, he realizes he's got to play within the system. And if he can do that, maybe his numbers won't be as great, but the team's success will be much better. And that's all that matters to me.
And we've had plenty of people that hang on our chats and watch the Packers talk about the chemistry on this defense, about how well they're playing, and every time any of the national media or anybody else talks about the Packers are like, this defense is so improved, it's so great, and they're doing it without some of their top players, with Zadarius Smith and Jair Alexander being out and all this stuff. And so, yes, so then other people here have talked about they're worried about this chemistry being disrupted when he comes back. Not that Jair will disrupt chemistry. We're not worried about that. He just helps make the secondary stronger. But as far as Zadarius Smith, he could make the pass rush stronger. He could make the defensive line rotation and outside linebacker rotation stronger. But he's also the same guy that's been so much about, like you said, his numbers, been focused on his numbers, made his own captain thing when he didn't get voted captain, like all that stuff. Is that guy going to be a team guy? I hope, like you said, he learned from sitting back and watching this, because the way this team is playing, the way Preston Smith went through what he went through last year when his numbers were down, and then to come back on the cut deal that he had and all that stuff, and then to play the way he's played this year with not putting up huge sack numbers, because he doesn't get to always go for the sack. He has to maintain his leverage. He has to play his responsibility. And then sometimes he gets to all-out pass rush, right? So he's not going to have 15 sacks this year and be an all-pro. No. Or a Pro Bowler. No. But he's going to have one heck of a season, and the team together is having one heck of a season. So you hope it is, because, like you said, he's got the talent. He's a huge guy. He's like 280 pounds, pretty fast, strong. I mean, he's built really well. I mean, he can be an impact guy if he buys in. But that is the ultimate question. If he does come back, if he makes his way back onto the field, that has to be the case. And Eckes is wondering, if he doesn't, would Barry sit him? Would Barry do what Mike Pettin wouldn't do? And take control of that guy and be like, you know what? No. You're playing your responsibilities, or you're on the bench. I don't know.
I don't think anybody's going to put him on the bench. If he comes back and they say he's healthy, he's going to play. Period. Because he's making a crap ton of money. It's not like,
Yeah, but you got Gary who's playing great, and you got Preston.
I'm not saying he's going to play start or even play all the time, but he will play a significant amount of time. You won't see Garvin and you won't see Naliai anymore. You'll see him and Preston and Gary, and that'll be the three-headed monster. And, that's how it works. But
Zero's back. Hey, Zero. Zero thinks having Z back could be another weapon in the arsenal. He could be. It's all about the way he decides to go about it, though. His approach. Zero, we got questions about your fantasy team. We talked about that earlier. Let's go. What's going on with you? We got to get Purple Rain out of the playoffs. That's a Viking emblem, cannot be in the Hafeman Bros Fantasy Football Packers Show Fantasy Team Playoffs. Come on, Zero. Let's go. Get your team together here. All right. So that's a big question. The other big question is, to me, of course, we already talked about the special teams. Everybody's talked about that ad nauseum. The thing I could never understand, Ben, is like they've changed special team coaches. I don't know how many times in the last handful of years. It was happening under McCarthy. It's still happening under LaFleur, like I said, Wednesday night. So is it just they don't draft aggressive enough players? Is it just they don't practice it enough? I mean, I don't know what it is. You don't think they're just not aggressive enough players?
Well, they're not.
They're not. It's true. They don't really have many aggressive
Look at
players.
the offensive line. You got Lukey Patrick and Runyon Bunyan. The rest of those guys are not tough guys. And even Runyon Bunyan, is he really a tough guy? I don't know.
I don't know if Lukey's a tough guy. He just tries hard. But
that's better than half the other guys.
But
you got Ty Summers. Is he a tough guy? No. Oren Burks never knows what's going on. Barnes, I don't know if he plays special teams as much. He does.
He does, but he's slow. He's not
slower
fast.
than crap. He's not fast. at all.
Yep.
That's the other problem. They draft fast guys who are dumb, and they draft slow guys who are smart. They need to start drafting fast guys or sort of fast guys who are pretty smart. Those are the guys they should get. But they don't.
Like they could have made a move for Micah Parsons maybe this year. That would have been something.
He got drafted pretty high. But
I know, but hey, they move. They package picks when they want a guy.
They could have had a guy who's really fast and really smart and really aggressive.
He just sat around for a couple of rounds, right?
Yeah, they could have had JOK, no problem, and he would be freaking killing everybody. At least it's on special teams, if not
right. Special
on
teams
coverage, on dime and nickel. He would not have been like Henry Black and let the guy run for 51 yards. He would have got in there and probably broke up the play because he'd be watching where the ball is because that's what he does. And he hits the ball and he causes turnovers and he freaking breaks up passes and he does all kinds of crazy stuff. And that's what the Packers guys, Zoo Douglas does. That's about it. But the whole special team, and then the wide receivers, their wide receivers don't run through contact. So and those same guys who can't get open, like even Robert Tonyan, those guys who can't get open on contact without contact are going to go and try to play special teams and get through blocks and also tackle guys. No, they're not going to do that. They're not aggressive players.
It's got to get cleaned up, and I don't know how, because you're not in on those type of on coverage units. You're not putting any of the big guys out there. So, but you need guys even in the middle. You need guys that at least have some speed. That's why you look at the linebackers generally for that. I mean, does Rashawn Gary have to start playing coverage units?
No, they can't afford to have it.
Well, maybe that's what Za'Darius could do. Maybe that's free reign. Go get him, Za'Darius. No responsibility. Just go tackle the guy with the ball. Go run down there and smash somebody up.
He'll miss him, and then, he'll screw up his assignment, and there'll be a hole to run through.
How is that any
it's
different?
The same problem.
He might actually.
Right now, we have 11 Za'Darius Smiths on kickoff coverage right now. That's the problem. They don't stay with their assignments. They don't do what they're supposed to do.
Angus points out he was lobbying for Queen and Parsons, not Love, but he didn't get it.
We were all lobbying for Queen. I could watch that video, and we all thought it was Queen.
We didn't really pass on Parsons. We passed on TJ Watt back in the day 0, and then we passed on Patrick Queen. We could have made a move. We could have packaged some picks and got Parsons if we really wanted him. Packers just brought up Winfrey. Can he help special teams? Eka says no, because he's not a trusted guy with his hands either, and he's certainly not a tackler. So you got to put. I'm saying.
You never know.
I think your starting safeties have to be. You got to look. You have to seriously consider Amos and Savage being on both coverage units now. Unless you're going to have a guy that's going to kick it in the end zone every time on kickoffs, which we don't have. And I still don't know if they've given Bojo a chance to do that and he just can't do it, or if it's like a pride thing. They don't want to hurt Mason Crosby.
It's a pride thing. It's a pride thing.
It's like, dude, every other kicker kicks it in the end zone every time. Not out of bounds, not short of the end zone half the time. Every other kicker on every other team is in the end zone 95% of the time. So they didn't have to worry about it. You don't have to cover it.
No. I think the biggest difference with Packers special teams is their draft and develop thing. Okay? They draft either athletic guys who they want to develop into something, right? And they either become something or they flame out and stink after a year or two. And then what they do is they sign undrafted free agents who don't have freaky athletic ability, but they're super smart and talented, but they don't quite have the speed or whatever it is to make plays. And sometimes they'll sign undrafted free agents who are just athletic freaks but have zero technique and zero skill. So then what you do is you have your special teams is compiled of slow guys who are good players and know what their assignments are, right? And then you have athletic freak guys who are dumb and don't know what the hell's going on. And the athletic freak guys can either don't lose their contain or get beat their guy and get down there way too fast and miss the tackle because they don't have a technique to make the play. And then when they miss the tackle, they're out of their gap assignment. Plus, the guys then who have to back up and make the play are the slower guys who are smarter, but they're slower, and they can't get to the spot in time to make a play. And that's the problem.
All right, I've got a quick solution. All right, I'm saying what I said before. I'm gonna advocate for that. I'm gonna advocate for Zadarius Smith coming back and playing special teams coverage units, and just tell him to go down there and hit somebody and try to make a play. Go make a play, Z. Go make a play. It's the quarterback. Go get him. Just say that.
The only way is if you add something to his contract where for every tackle on special teams he gets an extra $100,000.
At this point, I would. He'd get a bonus for
every. He'll do it for that. For money, he will do it.
For every tackle he gets on special teams, he gets an extra, I don't know, 10 grand. I don't care what it is. Call it. All right, at least 1,000. Give him $1,000 for every tackle on special teams, and tell him to just go and get the guy. And then the other change that I'm going to propose is Eric Stokes on the coverage units as a safety valve. He's supposed to be super fast running a straight line, right? I think he can get blocked pretty easily. But if you keep him kind of back as the safety guy, he should be able to catch him and prevent guys from getting a touchdown. So there's my two changes right out of the gate. My other ones are think about putting your starting safeties on special teams. And the one other one is, the one that always makes me really confused, is Shamar Jean-Charles, who weighs like 160 pounds, being on your kick coverage and your punt coverage. That guy can't do anything. He's so little. Like, the only really little guys like that you have on any special teams units are when they're good return guys. But a guy that's like 160 some pounds, I'm not putting him out there to fly down there, beat a block, and tackle somebody. That's not what he's going to be good at. So get him off the field. Anybody else out there. But I think Stokes for speed, Zadarius for money, bonus, and you might have something, you might turn it around.
What about this? I got a new plan.
Okay.
What if we teach Stokes how to kick off?
Okay.
So he can kick off really far, and he's a safety valve. Let's do that.
Actually, you know what? Come on, that's the other concern. Is Mason real? I mean, are you thinking Mason's going to be a guy that could get, if he's going to pull something if he tries to run somebody down?
But Corey Bajorquez could tackle some guys.
Yeah, he's good. We need Janikowski back, or we need somebody like that. Lay the wood on you.
No.
Pat McAfee, he laid the wood on some dudes, right? Only when
I want to talk about a topic that bothered me last night. I want to talk about the game from last night.
All right, go ahead.
Chargers against the Chiefs. I don't know if anybody watched it. I watched the 30-minute mashup today of every play on Game Pass, and because I went to work, and when I was driving to work, in the course of me driving to work, the Chiefs tied the game up. There was 6 minutes left. The Chargers went down and scored a touchdown from me driving from home to work. That's how little bit, it was like 6 minutes. In 6 minutes of real time, Chargers went down, took 3.5, 4 minutes off the clock, tied the game. And then I went to work, and I figured the Chargers won. Well, no, the Chiefs got into overtime and then got the ball first. And then it was one of the ugliest, saddest, most pathetic defensive plays I've ever seen, where Travis Kelce caught the ball and rumbled and stumbled for 40-some yards for the touchdown to win it in overtime. But the thing that's concerning to me, for anybody who watched it, is the Chargers had the ball inside the 10-yard line on 3 times, 2 consecutive drives at the start of the game, and came away with no points. And they lost in overtime. And twice, the first 2 times, they went for it on 4th down and goal. One of them was from like the 6-yard line. The other one was 4th and goal from the 2. And they didn't get it either time. So they gave up 6 points and lost in overtime. Even if they would have even after the first time when they screwed up, if they would have at least kicked the field goal the next time, they would have won. Also, there's another time where they did it. It was 3rd down and like 4. And the running back did a dive, like a Walter Payton move from the 4-yard line. Where he was thinking he's going to dive over guys to get there in the 4-yard line, I don't know. But he jumped up with the ball from the 4-yard line, and the guys knocked the ball out of his hands, and he never got close to the goal line because he was 4 yards away. And then it was a fumble, and the Chiefs got the ball. So that was 3 times that they had the ball inside the red zone and didn't score any points at all. And there's another time where they went for it on 4th down, and they got it because it was 4th and like inches, and Justin Herbert just did a quarterback sneak and got it. But what I'm trying to get at is this. Everybody's freaking out last year when LaFleur on 4th and 8 kicked the field goal when the Packers would have had to score twice anyways in that game to try to win it in the NFC Championship game. And he did the right thing. After all this time, he did the right thing. It doesn't matter who or what your time is. If you know you're down, you take the points. And in this case, had the Chargers just taken 1 field goal, possibly 2 field goals, they would have won the game. But they lost because they were down. And they went for it on 4th down twice and didn't get any points out of it. And we've watched Matt LaFleur go for it on 4th down a couple times early on in games. This was early on in the game with the Chargers. And the Packers didn't get the ball. Like they were 4th down and they didn't score a touchdown. And then in this last Bears game, they had to go for it on 4th down, and they had the Lazard play we talked about earlier where he faked like he was going to block, and then he caught the slant for the touchdown, right? And it works sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, do you think how would you feel if you're a fan and you watched your team get 0 points on 3 trips? Like they had the ball and they dominated. They were running all over the Chiefs. Like Herbert didn't have to pass that much on almost all those drives. And then they get inside the red zone, keep going for it, and get no points. And you lose to the crappy Chiefs. And Patrick Mahomes sucked in this game. He was throwing the ball like crap, like throwing it way too low, throwing it too high, throwing it in the dirt.
The greatest quarterback of all time, I thought.
He's not. He was looking bad. He was looking bad. But anyways, I know I'm rambling on, but it was just
not that sustained greatness that we.
It's a weird. I think whatever that guy's, I can't remember his name now. Crap. Staley, the Chargers head coach, he did the extreme of going for it too many times on 4th down.
Yeah.
Okay. And LaFleur, they even brought it up after the game, and he was even talking about it. He's like, I know you guys were thinking about it from the 8-yard line. He's like, well, and he's talking about it in his press conference.
He took
it right away as that. So that is still in his head because of all offseason people gave him crap. And I'm worried about that biting us in the balls later on, either in the playoffs or in later games where LaFleur is like, oh, we got to go for it. In a game where sometimes you got to just take the points.
Yeah.
Take the points.
You're right. They were actually, first of all, that the biting the balls is a lot worse than the biting the butt. So that's a worse one.
Secondly, it's worse.
Secondly, as you were talking about that, like you said, I mean, sometimes what it brought to my mind was that if you just had Mike Holmgren as your coach, you would have probably won that game.
Oh, yeah.
Because he would have kicked the field goal every time, baby. But anyway, the other point, and that's, I mean, I give a little ingest there, but the point is, there were 2 times, those 2 4th downs, the Packers went for it. I was like, you need to kick it here. You should kick it. And they went for it, and I was like, it's great you made it, but I would have kicked it.
Oh.
Because it's early in the game, like especially earlier in the game. Like you never know. You do not know what is going to unfold the rest of this game and how valuable those 3 points or 6 points could be. And Zero brought it up. These coaches are so addicted to analytics, and it is. It's crazy how much, they're following all these analytics all the time and not just going with what the right move is, what makes sense in this moment at this time to you as a human being, as a football coach, what you feel in your gut. Like I watched the Bears flying all around and was like, okay, the Bears are going crazy this first half. You need points here. Like, I get you want to get a touchdown. That would be awesome. But you need to not come away with 0 points right here, because that would be way worse. And there were 2 times they went for it on 4th down where I was like, they should kick it. And they went for it, and it worked out, but I don't know.
It's just, if you could watch the highlights of that game, or just, I mean, because I thought, I didn't know, I purposely didn't look at the score, because I was like, when I get home today from work, in the morning, I want to watch the half-an-hour version so I can see what happened and blah, blah, blah. So I was trying to figure out, like, how did they get tied or whatever. And I watched the first drive, and I was like, dang, they're going to score a touchdown on the first drive. And then it was 4th and 1, and I was like, oh. Or 4th and goal, and I was like, oh. And then they didn't get it, and I was like, holy crap. And then the Chiefs went down, and I can't remember if they scored a touchdown or kicked a field goal or something. I think they scored a touchdown. And then the Chargers went back down, went for it on 4th down again inside the red zone, didn't get any points. And I was like, holy crap, how did they ever tie this game? And they were ahead at one point. And the Chiefs went down and kicked a field goal and got 10 points. It was 10-0, And luckily, Patrick Mahomes had a play, like, there was a great defensive play where it was on like a quick pass, and the defensive outside linebacker was watching the quarterback instead of trying to beat his guy, right? And as soon as he saw Mahomes go back to throw the ball, he jumped in the air, tipped the ball to himself, and intercepted it. And then the Chargers got the ball inside their own red zone right at the start, like that. So it's like, and if that turnover would have happened, the Chargers would have gotten blown out. You know what I mean? Because the Chiefs, they weren't really stopping the Chiefs that much. The only thing that was stopping the Chiefs last night was Patrick Mahomes' crappy passes, because he was terrible. But it just, I know it's a little off topic of Packers stuff, but it just seems to me like the whole going for it on 4th down is in LaFleur's head. And that's something and then watching that game just brought that up to me, like, man, this Staley guy is just going for it every time on 4th down, like nonstop. And I know the Cardinals do that too. And also the part of me was thinking was, holy crap, if we ever end up having to play like the Chargers in the Super Bowl or the Cardinals in the NFC Championship game or something like that, these guys are going for it every time. Yep. And then that brings me back to what I was saying earlier in the show, where, last year and the year before, if it was 4th down and the team was going for it, I was like, well, all right, the Packers defense is going to give this up. Now this year, the Packers defense has been much better at that sort of thing, but they could regress. It could happen, and so these are all things that are concerning to me that just kind of came to me, from watching that thing this morning. I'm like, man, it could be bad. So special teams could be a problem. And this whole 4th down, going for it on 4th down thing in LaFleur's head could be a problem, because it's still in his mind. It's, after all this time, it's still in his mind.
I know.
And when a game comes around, and it's like, bullets are flying, it's an NFC Championship game. And what decision is he going to make? Like, I'm hoping that he has decided ahead of time, like, hey guys, this is what we're going to do in this situation. This is what we're going to do in this situation. And he tells all the other coaches so that they can tell him in that situation in the game, be like, dude, this is what we agreed to do. Don't let the emotions of this hit you now. Don't let previous things that have happened affect you now. Do what is the best thing to do at this point in this decision that we decided on earlier in the week, and that kind of stuff. Because I could see it messing with his head.
Yeah, a lot of great comments. So we'll get to some of those in a second. One thing as you talk about that is, you're right. I mean, I was watching that press conference, and I watched people talk to LaFleur, ask him the question about it, and where he took it, that was not where they were trying to get to. Like, they weren't thinking about that, and he went right there. So you said, like, it's still in his head. The other part is, I really don't like it when coaches are unsure about what they want to do. And it's like, that's where you get delay of games, or you got to burn a timeout or whatever, because you're like, oh, we're thinking we might go for it, we might not, and then you're making mistakes in that. You need to know, like, in these scenarios, this point of the game, Lee points out, if it's before half and you're semi-close, you take the points every time. Mike Holmgren won a lot of games, and he kicked a lot of freaking field goals. All right? These older coaches, a lot of them still don't go for it. Matt Nagy, he didn't go for it a couple times where I thought maybe the Bears would go for it.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised.
And then Sean McVay, these younger coaches, went for it a couple weeks ago on his own 29-yard line early in the game. Like, what the hell are you doing, man? That's crazy. You punt that. Anyway, the point is, yeah, a lot of these guys are totally into analytics, like Zero pointed out. The analytics tell them, go for it, go for it. And the fans always want you to go for it. Well, not always, but a lot of times, a lot of fans, majority of fan base is like, yeah, go for it, go for it. Because you want to have football's this game, right? And you want to have extreme confidence that you're going to have an effective play and you're going to get it. Well, guess what? Sometimes stuff doesn't work out. And if it doesn't work out, you got to look at, if it doesn't work out, what does that mean for this game? What does that mean for my team? Where does that put my defense in? What does that mean in the scope of what this other team has done to us already? What does it do for momentum and the flow of the game and all of it? Because you score points there, you get to kick off again. Now, for the Packers' case, it ain't the greatest thing, but whatever. It's better than some alternatives. But you do have a situation where you have a much higher probability of getting points and than you do of converting a fourth down. And you take those points in a lot of cases. Really good points. Bernard, just stop watching Skip for a little bit. I know you're really mad about Skip. Skip will make anybody get mad, so you can watch Skip as much as you want, but just take some breaks from it so you don't get so mad about Skip. Blaz, how you doing? Other really good points here as well. I think Ekis, one thing I do feel, and I can understand LaFleur's comfort level with going for it at times, is that he's got Rodgers at quarterback. And the guy,
I don't want to. No, it doesn't.
I know,
matter.
but he has a lot of experience.
Listen,
but he has a lot of experience to hopefully make the right play. But as a coach, you're the one that's on the hook. You're the one that's on the hook for wins or losses. So you have to make the right play.
Well, the bottom line is you have to communicate with Rodgers now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I've assumed they would have that now. Be like, hey, in this situation, if we're not successful, or if you don't get the ball within 1 or 2 yards for us to get a fourth down, we are not going for it. So take your shot now if you want to take a shot. Which was the thing. Rodgers thought he had another down in that NFC Championship game, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't matter. Justin Herbert, if you watched his game last night, Justin Herbert made some crazy freaking plays. And he was awesome. And he's a great quarterback. And he's better than I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL. But I'm, biased, and that's fine. But the thing is, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. There's 10 other guys out there. If one guy screws up, you're screwed.
Yeah.
If the defense smells out your play.
One inside penetration, one guy gets through a gap, your play could be screwed. You're done.
It's just
right. Versus.
Yeah. So
that's all it takes, and you already have Royce, you got other question marks on the out. You're down to all these backups. Actually, that was a really funny questions by some of the Packer media. Was like, oh, you're only down to Royce as your only starter left on your offensive line. How are you feeling about this?
Runyon Bunyan would have started at
right.
He would have started at right guard had everybody been healthy. That's why when I hear that, it really bothers me.
Royce, he's the only starter
They're so dumb.
left. He's so good.
Royce he was not ever have been a starter. Runyon Bunyan would have started.
Oh, Royce is so
what
mad.
I'm trying to say is now I forgot what I was going to say. God, bringing up Royce.
Sorry. His hair is so terrible. It's worse than mine too. So.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's just why I say once again, don't wait till fourth down to call your really good play. Just call it on first down and get it over with. Also, if you're running the ball all over them, don't stop. That's the other thing that happened in this game with the Chargers. The first drive, there was a play, or the first drive, they ran the ball every play. They got inside the freaking 15-yard line, and they did pass, and got no points. I mean, if the Chiefs can't stop the run, keep running. And the same thing with the Packers. If A.J. Dillon is running the ball all down your throat and kicking the crap out of dudes, don't stop.
Same thing.
Don't stop.
Same thing. It's case in point. Same thing with the Bears. Justin Fields was running all over the damn place. They were running all over the Packers in the first half. And then where did they screw up? Where did they give the Packers life? By throwing it too much. And then Rasul Douglas makes them pay. It gives the Packers a quick touchdown, some life. And then now that brings me to this game coming up. I have one other thing to talk about before we go. But one thing to talk about here is, do you think, because the Ravens like to run the ball, and they have a crazy dynamic quarterback who's not that great at throwing and really great at running, do you think the Ravens saw what Justin Fields did last week running around? And are they just licking their chops like, hey, and will they keep doing it? Will they say, we don't need to throw it that much? We'll just keep running it. That is something that concerns me about this upcoming game.
Well, the thing that concerns me is the Packers, they're better this year, but we all know they can make an average tight end look really good. And the Ravens have a really good tight end. So what's he going to look like? Also, they've proven in the past that a running attack can hurt them. However, this year they've done much better at gap assignments and playing the run. And to be honest, I'm going to say something that people aren't going to want to hear. And I know Kenny Clark is hurt, but it might not be that bad of a game for Kenny Clark to be out. Because if there's one thing Tyler Lancaster can do, it's stop the run. He's very good at it. And this is a game where taking care of that, the controlling the line of scrimmage is going to be very key. And making sure that Lamar Jackson can't run straight fast. Because the thing about Lamar Jackson is, it's like Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson are jitterbug guys. And Lamar Jackson is more of a speed guy. He doesn't really jitterbug as much. So if you can clog the middle and force him to the outside, it at least makes him go horizontal for a while before he has to turn and then go forward and run fast, straight. But when you give him an open lane and through the middle, then he can take off and you're screwed. Like I've seen him cover like 30 yards in like a blink of an eye when the hole opens up and he's just gone. So it might be good to have just big beefy dudes in the middle clogging up for the saving against the run, and then also making sure that there's no escape route for Lamar Jackson up the run or up the gut, and then also play zone coverage in the backside and let his errant passing turn into interceptions. It might be a good plan. Force him to the outsides, force him on the run, horizontal instead of vertical, and force him to throw or force him to stay in the pocket, right? Don't give him the escape route up the middle. Make him have to force to go to the outsides. Hold your spots. Don't be dumb. Clog the hole, running lanes in the run game and in passing game. And don't worry about trying to beat your guy and get to the quarterback, because there's going to be a bunch of times where you get to Lamar Jackson and you're not going to catch him. He's too fast. But if the pocket collapses around him gradually, that's when he gets sacked. And that's what the Packers defense needs to do. And I think they can, even without Kenny Clark.
I hope so. One thing I'm wondering is I know finally after Fields had a bunch of runs and they started having Campbell spy him at least, which stopped some of his running up the middle. But I don't know if Campbell's fast enough or dynamic enough to spy Jackson if he plays. Now, Bernard puts in the comments that Jackson might not play. Got to see what's going on with that.
That'd be okay.
MVS also is questionable for the Packers at this point, which would be a big blow to the offense. But I would, Eka says, Amos shadow Andrews all game. Yeah, maybe. I just want Amos to at least be in the position to make picks because he's the best at it, other than Brazil Douglas, of course. But I would have Savage spy Jackson if he's on the field. Because Savage is fast.
Yeah, maybe.
He's little. I mean, he
Here's
might
the
break
thing
his
about
tackle, but
Adrian Amos. A lot of people say, like, Adrian Amos should cover. Adrian Amos not a great cover guy. Adrian Amos really good when it comes to reading of the line of scrimmage for run plays. Really good at also really good at playing in center field and reading the quarterback's eyes and making a break on the ball. He's pretty good at that. His coverage skills, not good. So I don't want to see him covering tight ends. No. If anything, the guy who's actually pretty good at covering tight ends is, especially a guy like Andrews, who's a little bit slower, might be Chris Barnes. Chris Barnes is not terrible in coverage. He's made a couple pass breakups. Even in the Bears game, he looked pretty good, covering Cole Kmet and whoever else that was out there. Oh, Jimmy Graham, he sucked, but we know that. Well, that's another thing. Jared Cook dropped a wide open touchdown. That was another problem why which forced the Chargers to go forward on fourth down, because on third down, he was like wide open, just dropped the ball. And we all know Jared Cook sucked when he was a Packer. He sucked. I don't know how a guy could be in the league for this many years. And he's just a guy who just jogs, doesn't even run routes really, can't catch half the time, doesn't block, and he's still in the league making, like, I don't know, because he had a couple good years with the Saints. Ever since then, people think he's good. I don't get it, but whatever. So, I don't know. I think Chris Barnes could do a good job covering the tight end, or Campbell, or they switch off every now and again, have those two guys deal with that. But I don't want those two guys worried about Jackson or whoever. If I think their backup is a Huntley or something. But it's not Brett Huntley. It's some other guy, Huntley. Something else.
It can't be.
No, it's not.
Jackson, I just found out about his thing. So he actually had an ankle injury from playing the Browns because JOK dove at him and rolled up on his ankle. So JOK.
There you go. Good job, JOK.
Because he's flying around trying to make plays. So could have been on our team. Anyway, so Jackson has a chance to play this week. And if he's got a bad ankle, that helps Packers out a lot. So very good, very helpful, very excellent. Because we know his passing isn't so great. So we hope he plays and he's limited on the ankle, and then we'll have less to worry about with him passing the ball and less to worry about him running the ball, and that can help the Packers D out a lot, which is good. I'm a little, the Ravens are kind of bullies. The O-line for the Packers, and I know I think it was Zero said that I fantasize about the whole team being offensive linemen, and that's all football is. Yeah, I love the O-line, but this game comes down to that, I think, for me a lot, because the Ravens have bullies up front, and the Packers O-line is going to have to deal with them. They're going to have to. They're going to have to.
Dude, did you see Bernard?
Which one is from Bernard now?
He said Cook is a Hall of Famer.
Cook is a...
Bernard, you are the ultimate troll. No matter what we say, you're just going to be like, Kevin King is the GOAT.
Well, Blas also
Cook
said
is a Hall of
that
Famer.
Billy Turner has been playing really well. And
Come on, Blas, you know better than
that's,
that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's see. I'm going to get the exact quote. By the way, boys, when was it the last time you mocked Billy Turner plays or Billy Turner's play? He actually plays relatively well. I'm not sure what relatively, what's your baseline for that? Because he's better than Royce Newman, but he's still Billy Turner. He has been better at times this year, but he's not even solid. And you got to be at least solid to be starting in my book.
All I know is Dennis Kelly came in.
Great, Dennis Kelly did great.
And the Packers offense was better in the second half.
More physical run blocker.
Coincidence?
Right out of the gate.
Yes.
More physical run blocker, and then he held up in pass protection just fine. And either way, you got to get the ball up fast because you got Yash, they can't handle stunts well. You got Royce. You got to get the ball off, man.
Well, another key thing with this particular game is the Ravens have been hit by the injury bug at corner.
Mm-hmm.
And so we should be able to, with Rodgers at quarterback and Devontae healthy and Lazard and, whatever. We should be able to take advantage of this corner situation and pass the ball quite a bit, And if we can get Aaron Jones moving and have him somehow on a cornerback, a third string, fourth string cornerback on an Aaron Jones in the slot or something crazy like that, I'm telling you, I think the Packers have no worries with this Ravens game. I think they'll kick the crap out of them. Even with Lamar Jackson running around and trying to pass or whatever it is, they'll be fine.
Blas says, that's interesting, Blas, because there's only 11 guys on the field. But he says Hafeman offense.
9 and 3.
9 linemen, 3 running backs. 9 offensive.
You get a flag every time, Blas. We know the rules. We'd have 9 linemen and only 2 running backs. We'd have 9 linemen though.
I'd go with 7 linemen for sure. I'd go with 7.
I'd go with 10 linemen. Screw it. All you need is one guy. Have the running back in the shotgun. Snap it to him. Everybody else block. What are they going to do?
All right, we're going to do scores in a bit. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? Because I got one thing I want to show quick, and then we got scores, unless you got something else.
Nope, I just was talking about the Chargers.
All right.
Fourth down 75 times and losing in overtime because they're dumb.
since Balaz is here, and since he gave me a hard time about showcasing Quinn Miners and talking to Mo about Quinn Miners, I got a quick Quinn Miners play to show you from this last game against the Lions. Let's take a peek at my man Quinn, how he's doing. It's the Quinn Miners update on Hafeman Bros.
Quinn Miners. You gotta get Quinn Miners on this show.
I would love to have him on this show. All right, this was this is just from the highlight package, so I didn't get to see every play and see my man Quinn. Now the Broncos are up 31-10.
Wait, I gotta put my glasses on for this one.
I know it's the Lions, and I know the Broncos have the lead. I know it's the fourth quarter. So think about that, too. It's the fourth quarter with 3:51 to go, and you got a 21-point lead here. It's 1st and 10, and the Broncos are at the 20-yard line. Now, I will give you this. The Broncos have a really good offensive line. So the fact that Quinn Miners didn't get to start right away, coming in as a rookie, okay, I get it. But now after what he's been doing, I don't think he's given up his starting spot with whoever the hell comes back. And here's just my favorite play of his in this game out of the highlight package. So let's take a peek at it.
Shoulder right on the football, knocking it out of.
All right, hang on. I want to make sure I point out where he is here before.
I know where he is.
I let you go.
I know.
He's right.
He's the pulling guard.
He's right guard. He's right here. Right here. Center, right guard.
Turn your volume off on there, on that play. Or do they talk all crazy stuff?
Then I gotta go back.
No, you just click it. Right, next one over.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a little sound thing. There's the play button, there's the fast forward button, and then there's the little sound button. Hit the sound button.
No, I didn't share sound though, so you're just gonna have to watch the play.
Oh, well, I'm getting sound.
The football, knocking it out of the halfback's hands.
Speaking of halfbacks, here's Melvin Gordon, the halfback down.
I know the guy kind of got sort of by the tackle by the end of a 10-yard run. But just look what he does.
Ball knocking it out of the halfback's hands.
Speaking of halfbacks, here's Melvin Gordon, the halfback.
It's just ridiculous.
I will say this. I wish he would. The only flaw he has that I've seen is he's never going to get called for holding. He never grabs the guy. He just shoves the crap out of him, right? The problem is a lot of times when you watch those plays could go for much bigger gains, and it ends up being the guy that he blocked makes the tackle. Now, he makes the tackle 10 yards downfield. You know what I mean? But it's like Quinn comes around the corner and he just shoves the dude instead of just blocking him and holding him so that the running back can get past him.
Yep. I said that too, that staying engaged with your block at times is more important than just bulldozing a guy and totally dismantling him like that.
But I mean, yeah, but obviously if he keeps bulldozing guys, the running back's going for 6-7 yards before he's even touched. So it's like, hey,
but
that's like first down after like 2 or 3 plays every time. So you're fine.
I just want to put this in perspective. This is a guy who grew up in Hartford, Wisconsin. Okay, got no D1 offers. Went to Division III Whitewater, a little tiny school, UW Whitewater, in southeast Wisconsin. Okay, so D3 guys are long shots to even make the NFL in the first place. He built up his body. He worked his tail off. He destroyed everyone in Division III. Got a chance to go to the Senior Bowl. You saw all the other videos. He's doing this to NFL players. A guy who came from Division III Whitewater is doing that to NFL players on the regular. He's the man. I mean, if you want to have a running team, and it's clear the Broncos drafted offensive linemen who are good run blockers. That's what they wanted to start as a foundation. And they have them. Their line is really, really good at run blocking. And they do a bunch of play because they're so good at running. They do a bunch of play actions. So they're pretty good pass pro because they get easier pass pro because they have the play action most of the time. So if you want to run the football, you get dudes like that. It's crazy. All right, final scores, throw them in. Bernard says 41-40 Packers. Woo! Eka says 31-17 for he's got to go. Eka, take care of yourself. Packers 31, Baltimore 17. Ooh, Zero says Ravens win via a 65-yard field goal. How about you win in fantasy, Zero? Let's go. Let's see. Packers will throw all over them. And they win 33-27 according to Blas. Ben, I'm going to say the Packers, based on all the injuries and the other stuff that's gone down, and Jackson hopefully being hobbled here, looks like. We get lucky there. So I'll say the Packers win pretty handily here. And they've been scoring a lot of points. I see them running more, and I see the Ravens trying to run it with their backs a lot more. So I'm going to say 28. Now, we'll give Mason a field goal. 31-17 is my score. Oh,
well, last week,
sorry, I guess. Damn,
I was pretty close, but not really, because I thought they'd blow the crap out of them. But I did say there'd be a defensive touchdown. And it was by my man, Joe Douglas again.
Yep.
And this week, I think there'll be another defensive touchdown, because Lamar Jackson's going to throw a pick or fumble or do something dumb, because he does every week. So, Eckes Turtleheads, whatever Eckes. Anyways, Banff Bandits right there. That's where the Banff Bandits name comes from, Nightcrawler. Anyways, that's why they're no good, because he's from Germany. What the hell does he know about football?
I can't believe I lost to you last week.
I can, because your team only scored like 50 points. You were terrible.
It's terrible. It was horrible.
Anyways, Packers win. I'll say, they're going to score a lot. I'll say 38-21. I don't think, well, then again, they got Tucker, so they'll kick a lot. 38-24.
Ooh,
23.
23. Woo.
Yeah.
Nice.
38-23.
The more I thought about it, the more I realized Eckes was right on with this score. So there you go. Anyway, we got Packers winning across the board. God, that means they're going to be 11-3. Jesus. How do they just keep winning games? It's insane. I mean, everybody at the top those winning games, though. Arizona, the Bucks, and
Arizona lost.
Even the crappy Cowboys are 9-4, dude.
Yeah, but Arizona lost last week, and now the Packers number one, baby.
I know. But the Bucks are still going to end up being number ones one way or another, and that's fine. I want them to be number one seed. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Thank you. The Bucks are a basketball team from Milwaukee. Get your stuff straight.
Okay. They're going to be the number one seed, and that's fine. I want them to be the number one seed. Because guess what? You don't want to be playing playoff football in Green Bay late in the winter. I'm telling you, nobody wants to be out there. Nobody. And a bunch of these dudes on the Packers team can't play good football when it's negative a million degrees. Last year was an aberration. They all got lucky. It was like 30-some degrees on that championship Sunday, which made no sense. That happened. That's like not going to happen this year. It'll be negative 25. And no one's going to want to be outside.
Well, I think A.J. Dillon is going to be a big difference maker in the playoffs as far as playing it in Lambeau this year.
Hope so.
A major difference maker.
Oh, that was my last point. It was an early point that I was going to make, and then I've come back to make it. Now, if Aaron Rodgers does want to go after this year, when you look at how terrible this division is, Ben, this would be a good time for the Packers to make the change, even if their quarterback play is going to be worse for a while, because the rest of the division is so bad. They could probably still win the division with subpar quarterback play next year. If you have money and you beef up the defense, you sign the right guys back, and you convert to running the ball more and just have play action quarterback passing. I know there's some rumors that Derek Carr might come to the Packers. Maybe they'll get Derek Carr over to the Packers next year.
I'll take him. He's smart.
But if you do that, you could still easily win this division. You could win 8-9 games and win this division. So I'm just saying, if you know you're good, like, you don't want to wait till the division's really good and then be like, oh, now we're going to get rid of our Hall of Fame quarterback and then have zero chance of winning the division and winning games. So anyway, next year might be the year to do it. We'll see. But it's all going to be up to Rodgers, what he wants to do. We'll find out then. But for now, we got Packers going to be 11-3 after this week, and hopefully going to win.
Oh, wait. Zero wants us to talk about what?
34-27 Packers.
Zero wants us to talk about Urban Meyer. I'll say this.
Ben, okay.
Urban Meyer is
Total piece of
privileged, lazy sack of crap who I can tell from his time in Jacksonville that I don't know if he was ever a good football
No.
coach. Maybe he's great at recruiting good players to come play for him.
Might be.
And then he just has really good players on his team and maybe stuff like that. But he doesn't want to work hard. He didn't want to be a good leader. And apparently he's a big fat jerkface. So good riddance. I feel sorry for Jaguar fans that they had to deal with this moron. And we talked about this. I think we talked about it last week. Or when did we talk about this? We talked about the Jaguars and we talked about the Lions, right? A couple weeks ago. The Lions got their first win. I said, just look at the way the Lions players reacted when they won and how Dan Campbell, that's a team that's one win, but that team buys into their coach. And then there's teams like the Jaguars who, the guy lost the locker room. The minute that he decided not to fly back with the team after their loss on that Thursday night game in Ohio. After that, the team made fun of, they were making fun of him, in their warm-ups and stuff. And it was over then. They should have just said, okay, see ya. But I know there's money, a whole lot of money involved. And that's why these owners don't want to pay these guys all this money for not coaching, I guess. But it's one of those things where, just like the Packers did in the 90s, when they got Ray Rhodes and he was a good Packer defensive coach for a while, and they trusted him and they thought he'd be a good head coach, and they realized within 1 year he was not a good coach, and they got rid of him and brought in somebody else, right? And the key to being a winning franchise is to understand when you made a decision and it was a bad decision, and understanding, okay, we got to make a move here, or whatever the case is. And to bring it to the Packers at this point, it might be like everybody's saying, where Goody Kuntz and Mark Murphy have to realize, hey, maybe Jordan Love is not what we thought he was. And we do have a Hall of Fame quarterback, and maybe they realize, hey, we got to sign him for 5 more years, and then I'll become a Lions fan, and that's fine. But, whatever. Urban Meyer sucks. Good riddance.
Urban Meyer, yeah. I mean, and that guy's had questionable character issues for a long time. I mean, it's been throughout college, all this stuff.
Well, and then the other thing was he coached for 4 or 5 years, and then he had a mysterious illness, and that's why he couldn't coach anymore, or whatever it was.
And then 2 years later, he's coaching for another program.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, he was just. I just was never a huge fan of the guy, no matter where he was, and I just don't. I don't know. I don't know why he was so sought after by so many NFL teams. It was just no, come on, this guy, you got to see through him here. So anyway, but
it's weird.
It's not surprising.
It's weird that a guy with such character like Tim Tebow played under a guy who has zero character like Urban Meyer. Isn't that an odd mix? It's a very odd mix when you look back at it and wonder, did Tim Tebow single-handedly help that team win games because of he had the teams together, or he had his players under his leadership, and Meyer just kind of sat back and let him lead, and then got all the money for it, because obviously the college players got no money. That's the other thing. He's used to the college players doing whatever they want because they have no money, they have no power, they have nothing. In the NFL, these guys are they're professionals. They're getting paid, right? I'm not going to take any crap from some freaking old piece of crap, especially when you're losing and you're not there working hard, guys like Matt LaFleur and these guys, and Mike Tomlin and these guys, they stay till 9 p.m. at night and midnight sometimes. They never go home because they're just freaking working on crap. And this guy's taking off at 3:30, 4 o'clock. Apparently, there's one thing I'll say. Apparently, Wednesday, the day he got fired, he went home early before the coach meeting that happened. And that was before he had gotten fired. And the other coaches didn't think anything of. They didn't know that he was fired until midnight or whatever it was, or 11:30 or whatever it was that everybody, Darrell Bell didn't find out until they got a call 11 o'clock at night saying, hey, you're going to be interim head coach guy. And when Urban Meyer left early before the coach meeting, nobody batted an eye about it, which means it wasn't the first time they left early. And all the other coaches are having this meeting trying to get ready on a Wednesday, putting in the game plan, and the head coach isn't even there. So you wonder why the guy got canned.
Yeah, it's weird.
And the owner is over in, is at the owner meeting. So he wasn't watching what's going on. And that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Shad Khan is not really like a hands-on owner, right? He's not like a Jerry Jones who's always around. He's a guy who's like hanging, he just shows up every now and again and checks things out. So you're putting a lot of trust in your coach. And if your coach is, just doing the bare minimum to get by. And somebody was thinking that they thought that it was like he was like sabotaging, try to get out of to get out of there so he just doesn't have to do it anymore, which I don't doubt. Because Shad Khan said after he didn't come back with the plane or whatever, he said, hey, he needs to earn the trust back with the players and the franchise. And then in the statement from Wednesday, he was like, you need to do that. And he didn't earn the trust back. Like he didn't do what we needed him to do. He only made it worse. So,
you feel
whatever.
Bad. You feel bad for guys like Mike Tomlin, who's having a rough up and down year because he's dealing with a lot. And he's a dude who I think, at least tries to approach it the right way and has been successful for a long time. And
but he's a professional.
That guy's got it down. But he's calling his players out. He's challenging them now because he's.
Well, you can do that.
Crap. Yeah,
you can do that.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
Right?
I'm saying it's good that he's doing it.
But it's like there's a big difference between, like, even Dan Campbell on the sidelines sometimes in Lions games, you look at him and he looks miserable at times. Like when they're losing by a bunch, he looks like it's just draining his life. But still, the team is there for him because they know how hard he works. They know how much he puts into it. They know how much it means to him and how much each one of those players means to him. And Urban Meyer, it seemed like nobody, like the players didn't matter to him. Like all that mattered was him. Like I guess there was a question asked him about a defensive player. They're like, hey, is this guy going to get some snaps or whatever? Because he was coming off injury or something. He came off injury a couple weeks earlier or whatever. And Urban Meyer's like, oh yeah, well he's been in there more. He's been playing more last couple, weeks or whatever. And apparently the guy had 0 snaps in the 2 previous games. So he didn't even know that the guy never played. He said, oh yeah, well he's been in there more the last couple weeks. Maybe he meant he's been in practice more the last couple weeks, but that wasn't specified. You know what I mean? I don't know. Whatever. Urban Meyer sucked. Good riddance for him.
Right on. Well, 0 asked, so we talked about it. Okay, that's all I got for you this time. Other than one other thing, if you're a Packers fan, a little quick nugget for you. You might want to spend a little time watching the Bears, like post-game Bears show with Dave Wanstead and Olin Kreutz and Alex Brown and
Lance Briggs.
Lance Briggs. Because those whiny babies just made a bunch of excuses for the Bears and whined and complained and said all this stupid stuff and discredited the Packers. Like, it's ridiculous, man. Those guys are ridiculous. And that's like NBC big time post-game show for the Chicago Bears in the 3rd largest TV market in the country. Your team kind of sucks, and they just tried to. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Go watch it for a little fun. It's a little fun to see it, and it's a good perspective for you as a Packers fan when your team's 10-3 versus crap like the Bears. So, all right, you guys stay well, be good, bro. You stay well too.
I gotta go to bed. I'm tired.
Thanks again to Nico for joining us in the early part of the show. He had his girlfriend over, so we didn't get to meet her. We didn't get to meet her, but maybe another time we will. He took time away from her though for us. We appreciate that, Mr. Nico.
Well, that's why he was like, Vinny's not back tonight. He's coming back tomorrow. Well, we know why now. He had his lady friend over tonight. What?
All right, Blas. I'll have to track that down and throw it in the video after. I can't remember what the search is on that. I don't want to waste everybody's time, but I'll throw it on here later. All right, be good. Stay well. Go Pack, go. And we'll see you next week.